Hello, my name is John, and today on Mono Story we're going to be talking about Milky Subway and my review of it. So let's get into it and find out what it's all about. The story starts us off with a character by the name of Makina, who seems to have been deleted somehow, and so now we are speaking to another character named Chiharu, who is explaining to us how this had happened. And so the story then takes us back into the past before any of these events had occurred, where we have 6 delinquents who have been arrested for committing certain crimes, and they are required to do community service. In this community service, they are required to clean a train known as the Milky Subway. However, when they get on this train, it suddenly decides to get a mind of its own and leaves the station, and their goal now is to not only stop the train, but get off the train. The good things about Milky Subway are very, very important, and things such as the world make it what it is, and it has so much different things in its world. It isn't as simple as just being a world with a city and a train. It has things such as cyborgs, as well as the train itself being a AI derivative or having AI within it. And so it allows for the story to have its unique elements because of this world, as well as leaving lots of things open to interpretation because the world is so unique in its things that it is able to use. And this world allows for our characters, the 6 delinquents, in order to reach what they need to understand throughout the story. So characters such as Makina and Chiharu, who seem to be the main characters, their problem is with their friendship and how they have disconnects with each other. However, by the end of the story, their friendship gets more stronger to the point where seems to be unbreakable. The next 2 characters we had were Kanata and Akane is often having to bring Kanata everywhere, and it seems like Kanata is the one that gets Akane into trouble often at times. And also she states that he is the one who doesn't really do anything. He's just there to be there. And by the end of the story, we come to realize that he actually is intelligent and he's able to help the team in getting to their goal of stopping the train. And the last 2 very interesting characters, I liked them the most, were Max and Kurt, and their story is very unique, and the reason that they are in their position is because they didn't get thanked for any of the jobs that they did. However, in this story, the first time, from what I think was the case, is that they were thanked for their actions in helping the team get to completing their goal. So it brought these 6 delinquents closer together, and it's what created such a beautiful chemistry and unique story with all of the characters. And so our last character, Ryoko, is seen to be the warden and the person overseeing all of their actions throughout the show. And at the start, she seems like she's very laid back, like she doesn't really care about these characters. But when we go into their backstory and find out why each of these characters was arrested, we come to find out that she's the one who actually cares the most about them and is trying to not only help them, but get them back to where they once were as a normal, functioning person in the society. Also, just a small thing, but the humor in this story is absolutely beautiful. The chemistry between the characters allow for such unique moments that are not only make you laugh out loud, but they also seem like they are kind of relatable to your own life to some degree. The negative I have with the story is that it is CGI, not 2D animation or anime, as we would from the Japanese cartoons. And so this doesn't take away from the story, though there are moments where it does feel a little bit janky or a bit disjointed, where the movements are not what I'm expecting or different. And that isn't, again, a problem with the animation. It's just that it's not directly like the 2D animation that I am used to. So it was a bit difficult. But after you get used to it, maybe after a few episodes, you'll be set. It's really not that big of an issue, but it is still, I think, something that could have been made into an actual 2D animation if they had the ability to do that. Now, in regards to my personal thoughts, I will just mention here now, this is a spoiler warning for Milky Subway. If you have not seen it, I would recommend you do so before watching this part. If not, I've already warned you now, so if you are spoiled, I'm sorry that you've just ruined such a beautiful story for yourself. But I love the plot twist in this story, straight down to that AI was the enemy the whole time. and I didn't even see it coming. I'm so used to being able to read these things, like, oh, the villain is the enemy, that is the person right in front of us, or the little small bunny rabbit, if you know the reference I'm making. But it was that robot the whole time that was causing all the problems, and that just blew my mind. And then we found out that there were small little knickknacks around that were saying like Titan, 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 and then it found out to be Machina is the daughter of the person who made the train in the first place. So she comes from a wealthy family, and the reason why the robot was helping her is so that she could escape at the end. But she decided not to because she had her friends with her the whole time, and so she tried to escape with everyone else, and one shot got off that got her. So she goes ahead and becomes the train, which absolutely was the most funniest thing I've seen at the end, where they show her speaking through the window, getting a new potential body, was the funniest thing. I thought that was absolutely like unexpected. The whole time she was there. So if you watch episode 1 now, you know that she's either sitting there waiting to be interrogated. There was also another scene that I quite thoroughly enjoyed, which was around episode 4, where they had the food stalls, and Chiharu was like, this is going to taste nice. So everyone else was going that they're old, so probably not going to taste as good as they could be. And so at the end, when Machina and Akane actually connect on an idol group, or idols that they enjoyed together, then Machina helps out by getting her food, and in doing so also gives food to both Chiharu and Kanata. And at the end of the episode, Kanata goes, yeah, this doesn't taste very good. And she's like, be quiet. And then the scene ends like that. And it was just that funny, small 1 second moment where it was like, that was pretty funny. And it's those moments that make the story so funny and interesting to continue on watching and makes you invested.
Milky Subway. Short film, essentially. I have watched so many times from beginning to end this year, it is not even funny. I love it because it is like this pure condensation of all of these different elements. It is extremely tight and well written because it is just so short, and they make the most out of every second to a point that I did not see at least anywhere else in this year to the same degree. And it was just absolutely fantastic. And if you haven't watched Milky Subway, you obviously didn't see my video trying to gush about it, and you should go do that. But go watch it. It takes you 45 minutes.
And that is my review on the Milky Subway. And I think this is a very good story to watch. It is on YouTube right now, and it's very short. The episodes are maybe 2-3 minutes each, and the last episode I think was maybe a bit longer, about 4. So you have no excuses to go watch this. It will take you maybe less than an hour, half an hour to an hour, depending on how you spend the time watching it, if you're watching other things at that time or you're doing something so you can't watch all the episodes in succession. But it is very easy to consume, and it is a beautiful story. It makes you laugh, it makes you get worried, it makes you feel happy. There are lots of different emotions you can feel just from watching this story. And the reason I even watched Milky Subway was not only because of the recommendation from The Glass Reflection, but also because they recently just released a manga called The Milky Subway. So I'd like to read that and see if it's any different, because it has volume 1, which would mean that if it was only 2 volumes, it'd have like up and down, or only 1 and 2, where this is a volume 1, so potentially there might be more volumes in the future. Again, it's stated they might be continuing it, but I'm not too sure. It may depend on sales figures, or may depend on other factors. But right now there is a legitimate manga being produced for the Milky Subway. However, I'd like to know what your thoughts are about Milky Subway. Do you think it's good or bad, and why? So please write that down in the comment section below. My name is John from Monostory. If you haven't already liked, subscribed, and pressed the bell button, please do so. If you want to watch another video, click up above. If not, until next time, I will see you on another Monostory.